We learned just a short while ago that Angels pitcher Tyler Skaggs has died at the age of 27. We have no further details to provide at this point. We do have this statement from the Angels. It is with great sorrow that we report Tyler Skaggs passed away earlier today in Texas. Tyler has and always will be an important part of the Angels family. Our thoughts and prayers are with his wife Carly and his entire family during this devastating time. There are no other details at this time. Please keep Tyler's family in your thoughts and prayers. As we welcome you inside Studio 3 with Harold Reynolds and Ken Rosenthal, the news is shaking the baseball world to its core, guys. And again, we're still trying to gather information and really just gather ourselves. Just when you first heard the news, H, it rocked you.
No doubt about it. I mean, the biggest thing is you throw baseball aside.
Totally.
And it's a family. Whether you're competing against a guy or not, it's very difficult. I've known Tyler since he was a youngster and get a chance to see him, spend time around him. Ken, the first thing I thought about was Nick Adenhart. You know, the Angels have been through this core of guys have been there before with this whole scenario. That was a totally different thing that we knew then. It was a car accident. We don't know exactly what the circumstances here are, but anytime somebody at this age, 27, passes away, you always think that you're invincible. And it's just a reminder that life is so precious and your time is so short. I'm just curious how everybody's dealing with it. It's very difficult right now. And praying for him and his family and just the toughness of the whole thing.
Harold, I think back to Adenhart and Jose Fernandez and Yordano Ventura and Oscar Taveras. And whenever something like this happens, and it's rare, but it's happened enough in baseball and in other sports as well, it's just such a searing pain. It's something that shakes the family. It shakes the organization. Everyone who knew him, everyone who competed against him, it's just a harsh reminder, as you said, that it's life. It's life that's important. It's not the games that we play every day, which are important in their own way. But this takes things to another level, of course, and nothing you can say in this circumstance makes all that much sense or really gives people comfort the way you would want to give them comfort. But all you can think about is the family, and losing a child like that is incredibly devastating. Losing a husband, incredibly devastating. Losing a teammate, the same. And the Angels have dealt with this. Other teams have dealt with this. Yes, things will go on, but right now, it's tough to deal with.
Yeah, you put baseball totally aside. Tonight's game between the Angels and the Rangers has been postponed. And when it gets made up, it doesn't matter. Nobody really cares at this point because you're just trying to be there for Tyler Skaggs' family. And married this offseason, H, and 27 years old, and like you mentioned, another reminder about the fragility of life.
Yeah, you know, and I'm thinking of the impact of, you know, he played for the Diamondbacks. He's been around a long time, and the game is so different than even when I played, you know, a few years back, is that these kids are all playing in circuits now. Yeah. You know, so it's 6 degrees of separation. They all know each other. So for one game to be canceled tonight, I would not be surprised if maybe other guys say, I just can't play tonight, you know, because of the closeness of how spread this goes with so many different players. All I come back to is it's a fraternity, you know, and a lot of the players went to his wedding. Yeah. You know, and took time to go there and know his wife Carly and spend time around them. And it's just, you know, words are hard to express right now because it is really that raw and that devastating for somebody this young to know that there's so much life ahead of them.
Yeah. It's not just one team, the men on the Angels roster. It is that entire fraternity, and a fraternity that is in mourning now and reacting.
And I think even closer knit than ever before because of social media and what I just talked about with travel ball and the whole circuit.
And we saw John Daniels and Chris Woodward react. And when a loss like this occurs, it's a loss most of all for the family and for the Angels, but it's a loss for baseball.
Yep.
And it's a loss of a competitor in the Rangers' perspective and from everyone else's perspective in the game. And that is what is so hard to accept. Someone this age that seems to be almost getting to a point in his career where he's coming on a little bit. And he was coming on this year.
He was just starting
to figure it out. And yes, he was healthy. He had the Tommy John earlier. This was a first-round pick in 2009, the 40th pick overall by the Angels out of Santa Monica, which is where he grew up, an Angels fan in California. gets traded to the Diamondbacks, gets reacquired, and here he is at an age where players do figure it out. And now the future is gone.
Let's show you some of the reaction from around the league as the news is still fresh here. This tweet from Phil Hughes. I just had lunch with Tyler a couple weeks ago. We talked pitching, life. He was so excited about the season, absolutely gutted. I'm sick. Trevor Bauer, we came up together, we won together, we laughed and celebrated together. Today we all lose and mourn together. Your memory, your love of life, everything that made you, will live forever in the hearts and minds of those who knew you. Rest in peace, brother. We love you. Another one, this one from Nelson Cruz. Sad to hear that another one of our brothers has left us. R.I.P. Tyler Skaggs, gone too soon. A picture attached to that. Chris Iannetta, truly cannot believe this is real. Thoughts and prayers with his family, the Angels, and all my former teammates. And the last one to show you was that from Chris Iannetta.
Well, I think the whole thing here, guys, is it shows that there's a wide net that's cast in baseball.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, I'm sounding like a broken record, but this generation is so different than any other generation that's played baseball because of the way it's structured now with travel ball and with the circuit that they played, the Under Armour All-American, the Perfect Game All-American, all the different ways that they are discovered today, that these guys play and travel with each other. You just saw from 5 different teams of different guys that either came up, traveled, we spent time, this or that, and that's reaching the whole league. And so that's why it's hitting hard and it hits home quick, even more so today than any other time we've lived in.
Guys move around, too.
Yeah.
Chris Iannetta was an Angel. Trevor Bauer was a Diamondback with Tyler Skaggs. So, yes, there is a fraternity of players. Harold, you know this better than anyone. You guys are all in it together, in a sense. And while you compete like crazy, compete at the highest level, this is a brother. This is a man who was one of you, and he's now not with us anymore. And for the organization, it's just going to be an incredibly difficult moment because it's the middle of the season. It's a team still trying to find its way a little bit, and you got to go on, and it's not easy to go on. Everyone who has ever experienced loss knows how difficult this kind of circumstance is on so many different levels.
Yeah. Ken, I was in college working for the Angels back when Nick Cadenhart passed away, and that happened during the season as well. And I can remember it's not a timetable you can put on it. That's something that it wasn't just the rest of the year. That's something the Angels family is still feeling almost a decade later. Yeah. And so today's news of Tyler Skaggs passing away at the age of 27, another blow to that family. We have a statement to pass along from the Southlake, Texas Police Department. This afternoon at 2:18 p.m., the Southlake Police Department responded to a call of an unconscious male in a room in the Hilton Hotel at 1400 Plaza Place. Officers arrived and found the male unresponsive, and he was pronounced deceased at the scene. The deceased has been identified as Tyler Skaggs, age 27, of the Los Angeles Angels baseball team. The release goes on to say, at this time, no foul play is suspected. This investigation is ongoing, and we will release pertinent information as it is available. We would like to extend our condolences to the Skaggs family and to the Los Angeles Angels organization. Okay, when something like this happens, again, 27, gone far too soon, everybody's, how? Why? Those are questions that are really difficult to answer, especially in the immediate aftermath, but to read no foul play suspected. Your thoughts on the police statement from Southlake Police?
It's tough. Just the fact that they had to go and find out. There's so many questions. Why, who called, how did it happen? All those things will be found in due time, and what happened. It is good to hear no foul play is suspected because that's the first thing you think about, what might have happened and why. But at the end of the day, Tyler's no longer with us. Yeah. And that's the painful truth of the whole thing. It's just a very difficult
for
time.
a minute? Because I think people digest stories in headlines in 140 to 280 characters these days, but this is real life stuff. I mean, and this is heavy, and this is difficult and real and visceral for people like you're mentioning who were actually there and had to deal with this. So I just don't want that to get lost in all this, Kenny.
No matter what happened here, and eventually we'll find out, it doesn't erase the loss. It doesn't change anything. He's gone, and that is the pain that the family and the Angels are going to have to endure and deal with and somehow find a way to cope with. And again, anyone who's ever experienced loss, and that's basically everyone watching and all of us up here, you know that it's life-changing. It just disrupts everything. It creates a hole that cannot be replaced. And that's what I'm thinking of right now. The parents, the wife, the team, anyone who was close to him, the former players, or the former teammates of his. It's just such a difficult thing for them. And our hearts obviously just go out to them and think of them and hope that somehow they find a place where they can go forward and remember all the best about Tyler.